understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, May 5th, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara Netzley, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 7 new episodes for you this week.
Yes.
Yes, this is the number we're going to be at for a couple more weeks, right?
Yeah,
We're cruising. This is our cruising altitude of 7 shows.
Yep, it's this, and then in like another 3 weeks, and then boom. And then they start...
and then drought.
They start dropping like flies.
They start dropping like birds exposed to pestilence on Supergirl. So I need to start at the outset of this episode. I have to say, astute listeners of the podcast know that I moved houses in the last couple of months. And while work is being done on our new house, we've been keeping the cats up in one guest room upstairs. That's just where they've lived for the last 2 months, basically, is this one little room. It's got a nice window. We're not monsters. But we let them out last night for the first time in 2 months because it's pretty much wrapped up. It's safe to do so now. Ooh. And all they've done for 12 hours is walk around meowing loudly at the unfairness of the world or at the strangeness of their surroundings or at our furniture but in a new place. I don't know. They are very loud. They are very vocal. And if you hear them bellowing in the background, I am really sorry. They're just incredibly discombobulated. So on the outset, loud cats, they're mine. And I'm sorry.
Okay.
They thought their world had shrunk to 4 tiny little walls, and then we were like, no, cats. No, come, a whole new world. And they came downstairs, and we're just like, what? Meow. So. And I've said all this, and they're probably going to be silent little angels, but...
No, that's fine.
So, how are you doing? Tell me ridiculous pet stories.
I'm doing fine. There are no pets. We have a cat who I believe is mentally challenged, but
not bellowing in the background every 5 seconds, like, oh my god, where am I now?
No.
Another room? Oh my god.
No. But But there's there has been some noise going on Twitter lately. People talking about what we should be doing for DC Summer.
Listen to you transitioning.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that was impressive.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But by the way, if you have a suggestion for what we should do when we're just doing Preacher next summer, you're really looking for something else to fill out episodes, you could tweet us at DCTV Report and just make sure to hashtag it DCTV Summer. Agent Palmer has an idea, not so much for DCTV Summer, but just in general. He was listening to last week's episode, and he quotes you saying so much plotting and talking and plotting. And Sara, he implores you to write up the Dr. Seuss DCTV poem, please.
I am already kind of on it. I think it's a great idea, and it sounds like a lot of fun, and I think I should totally do that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Palmer has a good suggestion.
He wants a stanza for...
Well, and
Yeah. He wants a stanza for each show we cover and then reveal it in a special episode voiced by myself.
I will say, as we were chatting about this, I did compose in approximately 30 seconds a beginning stanza, if you will. I do not like this lame Segel. I'm bored and he can go to hell. I'm not scared of your brainiac. All menace he appears to lack. So I'm working on it. I'm spitballing, and I feel like I could do a lot of different Seuss poems for the different shows. I think this is great, and I applaud Palmer, and I'm going to get my rhyming dictionary out immediately.
Awesome. So yeah, and also our friend Steph over from Gotham Lights at BatWolfBay87 says her reaction to Sarah Netzley says she's never seen Batman the Animated Series, and there was like a cat meme that was all like, I think it was some kind of bird that was all like shocked and what. Also, I agree with Ed that you are not old, Sarah. Oh, and I would be down for rewatching that show for your summer companion podcast.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that's I'm excited about. I like all of these ideas, but Batman the Animated Series, there's just no excuse for me not to have seen it. Even my husband was sort of shocked. What? You haven't seen it? Yeah, I thought, it doesn't seem like the kind of thing that should surprise him. I said, well, so if we watch it again, would you be down to watch it? He said, well, I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but yeah. So we're on board for that.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, and evidently, because for those of you who don't know, Agent Palmer and Steph are steady, or at least they were at the start of this conversation, and Agent Palmer was still really pushing his Darkwing Duck pitch, and they seemed to get into a fight over it, and I don't know if they were really fighting about us after a while. So
I will feel bad if our show was the impetus for some sort of hard feelings in that relationship.
So
sorry, guys.
Let's hope they're okay and they worked it out. But it was weird that we were in the middle of that for a while.
Oh, this tweet does not pertain to me at all. Oh, I'm going to back away quietly. Homer Simpson into the bushes.
And at Tanya Mel, Tanya's a friend of yours, right, Sarah?
Hi, baby. Yes, she is.
She thinks that we should spend our summer, obviously reviewing every Batman movie. All of them. I'm talking Burton, I'm talking Clooney, I'm talking rubber nipple drama, all of them.
I kind of like the thought of when we don't have a ton of TV, transitioning to cinema. Mm-hmm. That would be, and there's a lot of different tones in a lot of those different movies. That could be fun.
Yeah.
We could talk in our fake Bat-Bale voices. Mm-hmm. Just a whole episode of... So, Ed, what did you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that.
Well, remember, you also have the Adam West Batman movie. And
oh, yes, I remember.
Yeah, and if you really wanted to get frisky, there are 2 Batman serials from the 40s. One of which is incredibly racist.
Oh.
It was made in, 43 at the height of the war. And they had a Charlie Chan double as the villain, Dr. Axis.
Oh, that sounds really bad.
Oh, wow. It's a trip.
Okay, so I like this idea. Not the racist Batman, just the movies, the movie idea. I don't like racist Batman. Why are Batman's new uniforms made entirely out of white sheets? It's weird. That's weird, Batman.
Well, it's like the way the ears... the way the ears are done in there, it just looks like he just took 2 ice cream cones and stuck them on top of his head.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So I feel like we're heading in a Batman direction. I mean, we have a lot of options on the table, but this is a lot of Batman suggestions.
Yeah, a lot of Batman suggestions, definitely. But
only one of them involves nipples, though. Thanks, Tanya.
Well, we still have some time, so we'll see, and we're still taking more suggestions. So please, feel free to throw those in if you like.
And if you can get, a couple to fight over it, all the better. If you can break up a long-standing couple, great. We want to do that. We want to cause chaos and dissent.
Sure. Yeah. That's always been my mission. All right, let's get into these recaps.
Oh, fine.
All right, first up, Lucifer, Season 3, Episode 22, All Hands on Decker. Lucifer got stuck with Dan solving the murder of a show dog owner and tried approaching the case as Chloe would. Maze became incensed Marcus didn't want to die anymore and tried to ruin Chloe's bachelorette party. Last minute reveal, Marcus broodingly watched as the newly single Chloe walked out with Lucifer on their next case.
Okay, does it seem like Lucifer has done more growing emotionally in the last 2 episodes than he has in 3 seasons?
Yes. Yeah, that would make sense.
Feels like a lot of self-realization and we'll see what he does with it. Knowing Lucifer, he'll suppress it. But I just feel like he's leaps and bounds. He's become aware of other people, and he kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back in the past. But I'm hoping this sticks a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel like Dr. Linda is really earning her keep here. Like that big.
Yeah.
So.
Oh wait, I was talking about with the stripper. Were you talking about something else? Because Dr. Linda deserves a pretty boy who smells like chlorine and butterscotch fudge. Who on that show deserves that more than Dr. Linda?
Yeah.
But also her therapy is good too.
Well, speaking of that bachelorette party, at Deke273, our buddy Dan points out 3 weeks to plan a wedding with no shotguns involved. What the hell were the Lucifer writers thinking? My anxiety spiked like crazy. Bad wedding planning memories.
Bad wedding planning memories and bad plotting. Yeah.
Now, Sarah, could you have planned your wedding in 3 weeks?
No. When the first day I went in to try on dresses and had my sister / maid of honor with me, the ladies did the Pretty Woman sneer down the nose. I don't think we have anything for you here. You want to get married in 6 months? Well, you needed to start when you were 12 years old. Get out, child. Get out. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to give you money for fancy dresses that we'll wear once. So no, 3 weeks is bananas. I mean, I guess LA, I suppose, has a myriad of venue options and ways that you can do it. And, you could get married barefoot on the beach. There's all kinds of things that they have available to them. But no, 3 weeks is, and, it's something you kind of want to enjoy and savor. And rushing through it seems like poor plotting, writers. Yeah. I must say I did like the parallel when Chloe and Pierce left to go to the concert a couple of episodes ago, and Lucifer watches brutally from afar. You kind of have that reversal of the two of them walking out, Chloe and Lucifer, as Pierce watches brutally. So I enjoy brutally, not brutally. Well, kind of both. Mm-hmm. But I liked that the parallelism of it. There's not much about this that I've liked. We have discussed this before. It's rushed. It's weird. And I can't remember at what point you and I have had this conversation, but mind control. Why can't this be explained as Pierce had mind control? So when she comes to, she can be like, wow, that wasn't me at all. And that we can just wipe it all away. Because that's kind of what I'd like to do, because it just doesn't make any sense otherwise. Grumble, grumble.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like, I don't know. I mean, when you think of it big picture, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But I did have a lot of fun with this episode. Oh
God, the bachelorette party was hilarious. The dog show was fun. The dog was adorable. Yeah.
I feel like they're really transitioning. They were trying to transition into Maze being the actual big bad. And I think that's been sort of a half measure. They haven't really gone all the way with that. And I thought the Lucifer and, Dan trying to be Lucifer and then Lucifer really playing up when he brought in the SWAT team.
Because he figured if it was him, he'd be in trouble by now.
Yes.
There was a lot to like about this episode. I loved the bachelorette party with everybody working at cross purposes. Maze is trying to keep everything on track, and Ella and Linda just kind of want to see man flesh, and Charlotte, she's so good when she's bad. She's so good at being bad.
Yeah. And I think, that's right. Charlotte was at, on Amenadiel's orders, basically trying to convince Chloe to break up, and she ended up winning, I guess.
Yeah, she did. Well, because she's good at it. She's really good at underhanded psychological manipulation in a way that I found a little unsettling, but also kind of arousing. Like, good stuff. She just, it's so brave of you to, two guys from the workplace, you've got to type, lean into it. I love her. I love her so much.
Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe it's just been so long since Chloe's been in a relationship, period, that she's just pouncing at this chance?
That could be. And I mean, she does make it explicit at the end that she wanted a change and she wanted to be spontaneous and be somebody different. And she thought maybe doing that would allow it. The thing is, we didn't see that. I wish that, and I guess we kind of did. We had the episode with the prom that she didn't go to her prom, and they do the high school reunion, and she kind of has regrets about what she didn't do in high school. I feel like they've maybe tried to hit some of these beats where it would lead her to saying, I want to be that person I never got to be, but they just didn't foreshadow it well enough. I don't think. I wish it had been, if it had been her making a rash decision because she wanted a change in her life, and Pierce offered her the chance to do that, that would have been kind of interesting, but they didn't set it up clearly enough for that to be her motivation. And when she starts talking at the end to the bus driver, played by Alana Wright, who plays Nurse, what's her name? Laverne in Scrubs. Anyway, when she's talking to the bus driver and saying, I wanted to be somebody different, that was interesting, and I wish they'd tease that out a little bit more. But as it was an abrupt engagement, it was a rushed wedding date, and then it was a really abrupt end to the engagement. But it gets the writers where they want to be at season end, and so Godspeed.
Yeah. 2 episodes left.
Yes. By the way, I cannot see anybody hanging out the top of a limousine without thinking about that 6 Feet Under episode. And I don't know, Ed, if you were a 6 Feet Under watcher, but if anybody was, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because it was impressive. It was an impressive death.
Okay. No, I have not watched that show yet. But wait a minute, that was Laverne from Scrubs?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't recognize her. It's probably the hair. Huh.
Well, she wasn't in Scrubs, and you didn't see her all that much, but she, and it actually, I love doing the IMDb of it all, because it makes sense, because she also was on Suits as Harvey's new secretary, administrative assistant, and Rachel Harris, Dr. Linda, was also on Suits, so I kind of could see I always love it when they're like, I have somebody who'd be good for this. I have no idea if that's what happened, but my real person fanfic in my head, that's what did. Anyway, yes, fun episode. I'm still a little frustrated with the plot, how they've gotten to where they're going, but I still like the actors, the characters. The lame bridal shower turning into the wild bachelor. Oh, by the way, got to give it up for Charlotte for agreeing not to prosecute the swim team if they would be willing to take it all off on the party bus. That is prosecutorial misconduct that I can get behind and on top of and underneath. You're welcome. Okay.
You heard it here first. All right. Any news for Lucifer?
Yeah, we do have a little bit of Lucifer news, and that is about this upcoming episode, the penultimate episode of the season, which finds Lucifer finally making a big confession that gets interrupted by a very ill-timed phone call. So, we'll see how that goes.
We shall see. All right. And, all right, so, that's it for Lucifer. Ready to move on?
Yes, let's.
All right. Next up, Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 16 of Two Minds. An early form of the Blight appeared in National City, infecting dozens, including Wynn, and Kara tried to convince Imra that she did not have to kill Pestilence. Lena's tests push Sam to the limit, causing her to confront Rain in a dreamlike dark forest. Last minute reveal: after Kara and company discovered Lena's secret lab, Pestilence and Purity broke in and freed Rain.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. Pestilence or no, I am eating the heck out of those lemon poppy seed cookies. Those looked great.
Yeah.
Oh, these might kill me, you say? Yeah, I'm going to risk it. I'll take 2.
Yeah. This was a pretty simple episode. 2 main storylines going back and forth, and but that Lucifer was that way too. But it was like, okay, what's up with Kara? What's up with Lena? And I don't know. Did Lena push it too far? Was she like, should she have done more to try to comfort Sam, or what?
It seems to me that if Lena thinks Supergirl would allow Sam to be dissected, Lena doesn't know Supergirl at all. I found that to be a frustrating, and again, convenient for plot's sake, but maybe not appropriate to character development way for her to behave. And that's a complaint I have with, a number of TV in general. when writers push people to say or do things that just don't make sense because they need to get there. Lena knows Supergirl. Lena knows Supergirl wouldn't let that happen. And I think Supergirl proves that. She refuses to kill Pestilence when Imra's literally saying, it's going to kill half of the galaxy, including my beloved sister. We have to stop this now. And Supergirl's like, no. That blindness on the part of Lena to what Supergirl would do to protect Sam was really frustrating, and just felt like it had to be there for the sake of driving this conflict between the two women in upcoming episodes. And I didn't love that. But it was still interesting. I mean, it was still interesting to see the results, and I like kind of the science of it. Then she talks about enzymes that Sam experiences when she transforms. That's kind of cool. I like Lena doing her thing, but to me, that rang really false.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did like the scenes in the forest. I thought that was cool and interesting. You kind of get a better sense of like what Rain is doing inside her head, and what's going on. And the idea that that's like a pocket dimension that whichever one's not taking over the body lives in. I thought that was cool. Also, we finally got Brainy back.
And apparently the CW has used up all the makeup in the world because he's not blue.
Oh, well, here's my question for you. Was that because that makeup is so expensive, or was it because we heard the fan reaction and realized people think it looks cheap?
Yes. Yeah, I am sure it is the latter. I think especially when he was cast, there was a little bit of possible new love interest for Kara, and then we got our first look at him, and the world as one recoiled and said, oh, no, thank you. No. And so making him look a lot less frightful. And I liked the way they explained it, that he caused a riot at the Piggly Wiggly when he went to buy whatever it was he was buying, and that's funny. So, it is an improvement. It's kind of like when you have John, like, oh, he's Martian Manhunter for a hot second, and now he's just John again. It's just, we get it. It's easier on the actor. It's easier for everybody. It's cheaper. You don't have the CGI or the bad makeup effects. So we see what you're doing. But it just, between that and Liv on iZombie not really being Zombie Liv anymore, it just feels like the CW is like, we have run out of white and blue makeup. We are done. We have used it all up. All of our sponges are exhausted. We're done. Just be yourselves.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know. I feel bad that we haven't seen him for a while, because I think he's a great character and adds a nice layer to the show.
Yeah, I understand they only have limited episodes with Imra and Brainy. I think those actors were only contracted for X number of seasons or episodes this season, but having them as a little bit more of a presence, even if it's just a little bit, would have gone a long way in keeping the Legion present and following those characters a little bit more. It's a shame. I understand financial constraints and scheduling constraints and things like that, but I would like to have had a little bit more brainy than we did this season.
Yeah.
Imra, maybe less so because it feels like she's just there to fight with Mon-El at this point, which is not fun, but, you know.
Really? First, you didn't like that they were.
Too bad.
First, you didn't like that they were kissing so much and being so affectionate and apologizing to Kara. Now you don't like that they're fighting.
There is no pleasing me. I just kind of wanted Imra to be her own thing. And actually, to be fair, this week she was. She had stories that were not centered around Mon-El and her argument to Kara about whether they should kill Pestilence or not. So where do you come down on that? Is this a thing that Kara protested too much and it needed to be done? Kill Pestilence now? Or did Kara have a point?
Well, I think Kara's point is we've got to take 2 steps back and think this through. Although the problem is that they may not have time to take 2 steps back. I think capturing Pestilence should have been the goal. And, you know, if it got down to it and there was no way to capture her or prevent it, then, you know, you see if you need to take desperate measures. But I think the initial goal should have been to try to capture her, not kill her. You know, but you could certainly understand where Imra's coming from.
I liked that. I sympathized with both viewpoints, and that's one of my favorite things in a show like this, where it's not clearly. I mean, this is the problem Arrow's been having, is that clearly the argument really is stronger on one side than the other. Here, you know, I see what Kara's saying. I don't just indiscriminately snap necks. Yeah. Looks directly at camera like Jim from The Office thinking about Superman in that movie we shall not name. And Imra's saying, but if you don't, this is what happens. I like when there isn't a clear, oh yeah, God, no, she's so wrong. So that I super enjoyed. I also thought it was interesting that Pestilence, it's not like Julia where she wants to stay Julia. Pestilence is like, no, this is cool. I'm going to kill people. This is awesome. I finally have true God powers. So I enjoyed the enthusiastic embrace of evil. It's nice that you don't have 3 reluctant kind of victim villains, if that makes sense. They can't help but be villains. But, you know, Dr. What was her name? Dr. Parker. I was just like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. That
I'm going to kill these insurance executives. And America went, I might allow that, actually. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh, and can we talk? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, just I agree.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I was going to transition and talk briefly about how amazing Jeremy Jordan's fake death scene was. When Wynn was sick and was having this big realization that he just has shucked his emotional baggage and he's ready to achieve his potential and go on and do it, it might be too late. And he and James have that amazing moment where they both get teary. And honestly, for a second, I thought they were going to kill Wynn. It was such an effective farewell scene and so well done, and shows how, I think, underused Wynn can be. Sometimes he's more than just that wacky emotional sidekick.
Yeah.
It's really good stuff.
Yeah, and it gave James a sort of emotional moment, like you know, probably one of like the 3 he's had over the course of the show.
Yeah, it was maybe the scene I've enjoyed the most that James has been in ever over the course of this show, and it was because he was reacting to what Wynn was doing. Poor James, that poor actor.
Yeah.
That poor character.
Yeah. Well, all right. Was there any?
So Supergirl's hard to talk about right now because it's not wrapping up the way all the other CW shows are. All these shows I'm kind of looking at as, okay, we have only 2 or 3 episodes left. This is Endgame. And I have to keep reminding myself, Supergirl's actually almost halfway through its run at this point. So it's at a different pace in the season, and so I just have to keep telling myself this is not finale season yet, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's hard.
Yeah, we have 7 episodes and left on this, and we only have 2 or 3 on the other CW shows. So
yep.
So,
news.
Yes.
Okay. One is a little bit more spoilery than the others. I'll do the lighter ones first so you can scramble and jump ahead 60 seconds if you really don't want to hear it. But in episodes coming up, James and Lena will realize that they both have secrets and it's going to bring them closer together. That, you got a secret, I got a secret, let's keep these secrets together. I feel like that's how all superhero relationships are based. So that's going to happen. In this upcoming episode this week, Trinity, an eclipse is going to mess with Kara's powers. Because, of course, she needs the sweet kiss of the yellow sun. And this, I think, is kind of interesting. She's going to have to grapple with Lena being angry with Supergirl, but not angry with Kara. So poor Kara is going to have to deal with a friend who is, angry at one but not the other and doesn't know it. And that's delicious drama that I'm looking forward to. And then the little bit more spoilery thing is photos from the filming of the finale of this season show Erica Durance in person and interacting with the cast in a way that makes it seem like she's actually there. And of course, Erica Durance plays Alora Zor-El, Kara's mother. So not a hologram and not, something in a fortress or anything like that, but actually flesh and blood. And that's interesting because there's been some speculation that maybe Kara's mother was involved in the creation of the World Killers. And so if she is physically there somehow in the finale, that might lend some credence to that. I don't know. Kind of interesting, though. And we'll get to see a little bit more Erica Durance.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
All right. Yeah, there's definitely things to look forward to. Okay, that's it for news, right?
That's it.
All right. Next up, iZombie. Season 4, Episode 9, Mac Liv More. Liv sliced the brains of a redneck rapper into a tortilla wrap stuffed with cheese and mayo, and hung out with Peyton and the zombie-immune Isabel in the morgue while the city was on lockdown. Chase Graves put the city on lockdown while Major led a manhunt for a radical zombie killer that murdered the rapper and his zombie girlfriend after escaping the prison bus attack. Clive led a lively role-playing game at the precinct and became awfully friendly with Officer Hunter. Blaine hatched a real estate scheme and had Donnie eat the brain of a master hacker to sell the zombie cure on the dark web. Last minute reveal, Donnie showed Blaine that online bids for the cure had reached over $10 million.
This was a busy episode. You mentioned that Supergirl only had 2 main plot lines this week. This had about 8 plot lines, and this seems to be how iZombie is rolling this season.
Yeah, definitely. So much going on here. So much of that they introduced the, this is going to be the case of the week, and then just stopped it midway through. And it's like, okay, we're not gonna find this guy. And let's have Major and Chase hunt him down instead.
Yeah. And they did, and that was an upsetting final scene. Good grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. In no particular order, Isabel, that's like Children of Men valuable at this point. I mean, if she's immune to the zombie virus, she's the thing you've got to protect above all else, isn't she?
Yes. And I don't understand why Liv was making such a big deal that Ravi shouldn't work on her. Shouldn't, do testing on her.
Yeah, it seems like the very best possible thing he could be doing with his time. By the way, that actress she played young Kara in the Supergirl episode Midvale earlier this season. And she had a devastating season 1 arc on the 100, which if you're not watching, it's Battlestar Galactica Babies, and it's amazing. So that seems to be the CW's child secret weapon, that if they need to just destroy you, they pull out this actress and she does her thing and you're just left a sobbing mess. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying her. We reported on a teenager going to have a significant role this season, and I worried a little bit that she would be a Cousin Oliver, but that has not been the case, and I'm very relieved about that.
Yeah.
No Cousin Oliver here.
Also, the actor who played Kane, the zombie killer, I'm sorry, I can't recall the actor's name right now, but I thought he was especially menacing. That actor was also in the movie Wind River with Jeremy Renner. Also playing a complete redneck, horrible, disgusting psychopath. It's
James Jordan, and he was also on Veronica Mars playing Lucky and Tim Foyle. So he's another one of the stable of Rob Thomas players who gets trotted out. So yeah, I enjoyed him.
Yeah. And I thought, the scene with him and Chase was really scary.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Thank God for Major.
Okay, let's talk about Major for a second. They need to fix Major. Fix him. Fix him, show. Major is my thing. Major is... Just fix Major, okay? I don't like this. Liv and Major are my endgame. Like, they have to be endgame. And so why... I've never agreed with Peyton Moore when she comes out and she's just like, you two need to stop it. More of Major trying to mentor the Padawans... Less of Major being horrible. Please, I'm begging you, show. Fix my Major. Okay, I'm sorry.
I think it's the kind of thing where he's in too deep with Fillmore Graves. Like, this is the kind of thing, like, they would need next season to
fix.
Yeah, like, he needs time away from Fillmore Graves to understand where he is, and hopefully he's not tried for war crimes.
Oh, God. What worries me is it seems like he has seen and done things that would have been the catalyst for him to say, oh, maybe I have fallen in with the wrong crowd. And he hasn't had that revelation yet. So how much worse is it going to get before he finally says, oh, God, what have I become? Like, he's already done things that should have made him say that. So is he not going to do that? Or, I worry, is it going to escalate to where it really is something even worse than what we've seen that's going to make him have that wake-up call? I don't know. I just fix him. Fix Major. Hashtag fix Major.
Get on it.
Okay, but let's talk about things I really, really, really enjoyed keeping things funny and light this week.
Okay.
Number 1, Blaine doing the Mr. Burns finger steeple and laugh. I already kind of love Blaine, but that just sealed the deal. Number 2, Donnie as like the virginal computer genius. Amazing. Donnie is their secret weapon, as far as I'm concerned.
When he gets that laptop.
And of course, the Dungeons and Dragons game. Okay. Clearly, Clive is not the dungeon master. Ravi is the obvious dungeon master, right? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Ravi is the dungeon master. Come on, know your characters.
I don't know, because remember, Clive has that whole, like, beneath the surface Game of Thrones fan.
He just seems like Ravi has the more creative mind to me, and Clive's a little bit more straightforward, straight shooter. And Ravi just feels like the bigger storyteller, game dungeon master, game controller. I don't know. That was just my take, was like, Ravi would be running that game. But I love Clive's nerdy side. This reinforces my belief that he would have known what the TARDIS is. I know we had a disagreement last week. And again, I can't remember if it was on Twitter or on the air about just because you're a sci-fi fan doesn't mean you also like fantasy and vice versa. But I feel like if he is playing Dungeons & Dragons and is a Game of Thrones book reader before the show, he would also watch Doctor Who. Come on. Come on, show.
I guess.
All right, I'll back away from this.
I just liked having Vampire Steve back.
I love Vampire Steve. I would like to see a regular D&D game become a thing on this show. That they just have one always kind of running in the background.
Yeah.
And how cute was Officer What's-Her-Name coming up with a character just so she could play? I liked that.
Yeah.
And I liked it so much I might actually learn her name at some point. I'm not there yet, but like, that was cute.
Now, does Clive tell Dale? Or does he just break up with her? Just break up with her.
Yeah, I'm not, and that has really been progressing incrementally every episode. And this week we had I don't know how you're together with a zombie if you're not a zombie. What's even the point of that? And we see it's nudging forward. To me, it seems like it's moving toward a breakup. or I guess her getting the cure. I guess if the cure becomes widely available somehow, and then they get to stay together. But how do you? I don't know. How do you come back from that? How do you come back from not being able to be intimate with your zombie lover, and then she gets a cure, but you've been sleeping with other people? And I just feel like we've all been there. That's a hard conversation to have. I'm not a zombie anymore. Mm-hmm. I've been with other people. I would like to be with you now that we're both human. I mean, we've all been there. It's hard. It's hard.
I think that moment with Hunter kind of shows that Clive's moved on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't think he'd do that with somebody he has some kind of feelings for if he wasn't moving on from his actual girlfriend. Like before, when he hired the hooker, when he hired the professional sex worker, he was trying to keep emotion out of it, I think. And this is a little different, and I think you're right. I think that spells really bad things for his relationship with his actual lady. So.
All right.
And Liv and Ravi working together just continues to be my favorite part of the show. That chemistry and that the comfort and familiarity and the goofiness, and I continue to enjoy the two of them together. Crime scene, not crime scene, whatever they want to do.
Okay.
News?
News, yes. News?
Ooh, some good news. Cancel Bear, which is, I believe, your favorite website for predictions of renewed or not renewed, is feeling good about iZombie's chances for renewal. That the CW is expanding their original programming into Sundays. They're going to need some shows to take up real estate, and so they're thinking iZombie's looking good. So, thumbs up, Cancel Bear.
Yay!
Yay! And the episode coming up this week is Yippee-Ki Brain, Mother Scratcher, which I did not slip and curse, so well done me. And that features Liv eating the brain of a corrupt vice detective and getting super hard-boiled, which is exciting. Also exciting, he is played by Papa Mars from Veronica Mars, Enrico Colantoni, who is one of the Veronica Mars stable of players who has not shown up on iZombie yet. And I'm sad he's going to be the murder victim because it means we don't get him all season or all episode, but that's cool. I'll take him however I want to get him. So yay. Should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's taken this long for him to show up.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think he was on that like Bomb Squad show set in Canada for a while, I think, maybe. I don't know that he's doing anything regular now, so you would have thought that he would have time, but great. I'm excited. He's here now. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Canadians. All right.
Canadians.
Ready to move on?
Absolutely.
All right. Next up, The Flash. Season 4, Episode 20. Therefore, She Is. 8 years ago, Marlize fell in love with Clifford DeVoe and learned of his beliefs that technology was ruining mankind. In the present, Team Flash played catch-up as the thinker and mechanic stole random items from labs across the city. Cisco was unsure about his new job offer and had an awkward time with Gypsy after Barry asked her for help. Wells came clean with the team about his declining brain power, and Joe asked him to distract Cecile for a few hours. Last minute reveal, the mystery girl delivered a diaper bag to Cecile's baby shower, and after hiding around the corner, sped away, leaving behind purple shock bolts.
I am furious about what happened to Marlize. Like, from the time she met her terrible husband to now, #Flashpoint for Marlize. That woman deserves it. She was a good person, and he talked over her and, like, intimidated and was terrible, and she stuck with him, and why? Why, Marlize? Girl, why? Flashpoint for Marlize.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Definitely. Although, for all we know, Flashpoint might have caused this, so...
Oh, stupid Flashpoint.
Yeah, and especially because, like, you can... I feel like in that final battle that we saw, like, now the team knows that the Thinker is basically mind-wiping Marlize whenever she steps out of line. because she tried to save Killer Frost. Mm-hmm. Or she tried to save Caitlin, rather.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm getting more and more convinced that, like, I feel like Killer Frost must be lying dormant in Clifford somewhere, and she's, like, organizing the other bus metas.
Ooh.
She's going to be, like, a backdoor to free them.
Well, that's interesting. Huh. Okay, yeah. I could see that. So do you think that... How would that manifest?
I don't know.
Like the other...
I don't know.
Because, I mean, it's still Ralph's body, but all the other bodies, I'm guessing, are destroyed. So would it be Ralph and his shapeshifter guys? I'm like, do we bring the other actors in and Ralph can stretch to be all of them, so we see Becky a little bit when her power comes up and she does something, and in the end, do we get Ralph back? I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think that's how we get Ralph back. Maybe he can split. I don't know. Stretch himself and split. That way we can actually hashtag help Hazard.
Oh, yeah.
One can hope.
I'm sad about Becky. You know that. But yeah, so DeVoe interrupts and negs his way into Marlise's heart. And she was a good person and a humanitarian. And then she has one little setback that ends her in the hospital, gets a bunch of women and children killed. And then she's like, all right, I'm on board with your evil plan. All right. Also, if I can give DeVoe just a little bit of criticism, he needs to learn how to force choke people a little bit faster. He was taking his sweet, sweet time force choking, and that's what allowed the good guys to get the upper hand. If he just was a little faster on that, mental choke, it would be better. Just saying. Yeah. Performance critique, that's all.
Yeah, and he's still learning how to use all those powers, so, it's taking some time.
That's true. I will say the show maybe made a misstep in that they had Wally send a baby gift to his dad and Cecile that was a bassinet owned by Moses, and that made me miss Legends and wish I was watching Legends. The Flash has rebounded a little bit from the lows of Barry in prison, but it still was a reminder that Legends is a much more fun show for me. So, yeah.
Aw.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Well, they did cheer us up with a breakup.
That's true. Enjoy being on Taken, actress who plays Gypsy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Taken's getting canceled. It's been pulled from...
Wait, it's been pulled?
Yes.
My husband loves that show. He's going to be so sad. And that means I don't have to watch it anymore.
So it's they've pulled the episodes, so it's probably going to get canceled.
So wait, she broke up with Cisco for nothing. Oh, poor actress.
But
that is, yeah. They did have a legitimate conflict that they couldn't overcome. I mean, how do you handle it on two separate worlds when, the job gets in the way? It's tough. It's difficult. So at least the breakup to me made a little bit more sense than others that I've seen play out for less good reasons. I'll say that.
All right. And speaking of that mystery person, we did have a tweet from @River8878. Ashley says, okay, just finished Flash. So is she the unborn baby? Because she gave Iris that, look of inconvenience of having Iris there, and she is a speedster. Or is she Gypsy's and Cisco's kid? Ha-ha!
Cecile and Joe's unborn baby makes sense to me, especially because she knew, looks like you're going to be, having a baby in 21 days. Which was really specific, and it just feels like you would know your own birth date like that. Also, fun fact, 21 days from the airing date of this episode of The Flash is the Flash finale, so expect a baby in the finale.
3 weeks. Boom.
But yeah, that makes sense. I don't know how the speedster powers would happen. I mean, we all kind of assumed Barry and Iris because speedster, and her colors looked like a combination of the Iris color and the Barry color when they're speeding, right? So that made sense to me for it to be their kid, but I don't know. The showrunners have said nobody's guessed it correctly quite yet, so
We'll see.
We'll see. 21 days.
And we know they listen to this show because they're including us in that.
Yeah, totally. Of course. Hi, Flash showrunners. Thanks for tuning in. Speaking of, I have news involving one of the showrunners, if we're done talking about the episode.
Yeah, go for it.
I guess we didn't really... before we move on, I guess I do have one more thought, and that is kind of like on Arrow, where the villain's backstory came really late in the season. This feels really late for us to learn about Marlize and DeVoe. I think if we understood his plan a little bit more, a little bit sooner, that might have been kind of interesting. So I wish that the timing had been a little different.
Yeah. I also feel like it was weird because his, and this isn't really a spoiler for Avengers: Infinity War, but his plan.
Oh, you brought up Marvel.
Like
we said we wouldn't.
Sorry,
we received some feedback.
But it's a week after that movie premiered, and the plan that they reveal, just like his level of insanity, does reflect Thanos in some way to me. It seems similar.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like, we need to remove this one element and a hell of a lot of people, and then humanity will be able to move on and succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even a very sensible reason for doing something monstrous. But that's an interesting comparison. Yeah. Anyway. Mm-hmm. News. So showrunner Todd Helbing says people familiar with the comics will be able to guess next season's big bad based on how the rest of this season plays out. So if you're a comics person and you are paying attention, you should have a pretty good idea of who Barry is going to be fighting next year. Ooh. Okay. And the episode this week coming up is called Harry and the Harrisons, and that's literally all you need to know. I don't know if Harry and the Hendersons is a thing that anybody younger than me, and apparently Ed, you, will appreciate, but yeah. It will also feature the return of Amunet Black, aka Katie Sackhoff, so that is fun. I have enjoyed every scene she's been in this season, so yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
All right.
Seriously, has anybody actually watched Harry and the Hendersons in the last 20 years?
I have.
Or is this just a vague memory from our childhood that probably doesn't hold up?
No. I think it's good. John Lithgow's really good in that.
I mean, you could say that about anything.
Yeah.
John Lithgow's really good in fill in the blank.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have the same cachet as like Ghostbusters or Gremlins, but I think it's a solid entry in the 80s family movies.
Hashtag DCTV summer. Harry and the Hendersons.
There we go. I remember the TV show in the 90s.
I do not. What now?
There was a Harry and the Hendersons.
There was a TV show?
It was a very short-lived sitcom. Kind of like
that sounds terrible.
I think it followed Alf.
That sounds on brand, actually.
But yeah. I remember watching that when I was a kid. I must have been like 3 or 4. But yeah, fond memories of Harry and the Hendersons. That's enough of that. All right, that's all the news for Flash, right?
Yes.
All right, time to really get into it. Now the real fun starts. You don't sound excited.
Wait, are you waiting for me to object? Objection!
All right. Krypton. Season 1, Episode 7. Transformation. Lyta Zod dropped the injured General Zod with Chem to get treated, and then fled to the mountains with Dev M to search for her mother. Seg-El raced to rescue Nyssa Vex from her father, who was looking to get back in good graces with the Brainiac-possessed voice of Rao. Adam Strange asked Val-El to help fix his Zeta Beam device and lamented his failed attempt to be a hero. Last-minute reveal, Seg was shocked to see the voice of Rao reveal himself to be an alien and abolish Kandor's caste system, offering the entire city eternal life.
I don't think they want eternal life the way he's talking about eternal life, do they?
No. The second he was like, going to preserve, I'm like, aha!
Now, is that something that we should know about if we have been watching? I mean, I know about that because I've talked about it with comic readers, but is that going to be a surprise for people?
I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, the second they said this takes place in Kandor, I'm like, okay, this thing is going to be bottled at some point. Now it looks like it might happen sooner than we thought. I thought you had some great revelations here, especially like Adam Strange like now figures out like it's funny, like you realize how much Adam Strange went in blind. Like it seems like Superman disappeared, so he grabbed the cape and went back in time because he thought he had to save his grandfather. Now, he just knows he has to go back to 200 years ago in Krypton. And at first we thought, well, maybe he's supposed to help Seg defeat Brainiac. And then General Zod shows up. And General Zod also wants to defeat Brainiac. So Adam's like, that can't be right. And now we realize, what I think Adam's realized is that he's supposed to let Brainiac bottle Kandor, but get Seg out before it happens. Maybe that's how he saves it. I don't know. Know. Your thoughts?
Wouldn't you also have to get Lyta out?
Yes. Yeah, that too.
I'm just trying to think about what Kryptonians are in Adam's time that we would have to preserve that line a little bit. That I could see that. That could be interesting. A sidebar, is General Zod's dad Kyle Reese? Was their love brief, but was it enough for a lifetime? I misquoted that. I really apologize. I really do, because that's a cool line. But yeah.
Yeah,
time travel.
I thought
Kyle Reese.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think also it does the fact that the first thing she does is, "Who's your father?" Because we found evidently Dev-M's out of the picture. And I thought that was a big thing.
Yeah, that was yet again, this show saved the best stuff for the back half of the episode. It is consistent. They talk, and then they have really good stuff in the back half of the episode. I just wish they could spread it out a little bit more. But that was effective and sad, and I like that, we're seeing sacrifices and we're seeing hard decisions, and that's been enjoyable. Also, Nyssa got to do something other than be steely and cold and remote. I loved that. I'm glad she finally got to stretch and show a different layer, and also dress in a paramilitary uniform. That was good for her to get out of the fancy dresses and be like in disguise.
Yeah.
But boy, we sure like to threaten to execute our daughters on this show, don't we? Like that's a thing we do.
Yeah, Darren Vex is scumbag. He's just a real
piece of work. He's a piece of work.
He's the worst. He's the worst. You worm. You squirrel.
So, do we know who Superman's grandmother is? I assume we do, right?
Well, we know his mom.
And by we, I mean you.
Yeah, we know his mom is Lara. I don't know anything about his grandmother.
Patriarchy.
I'd have to read World of Krypton again. But I don't think it's there either.
Okay.
So that...
Well, I just wondered, I mean, is that set and inevitable, or could it be Nyssa, or could it be... Like, I just was curious if it's...
It
since we've made it really clear that Seg is not General Zod's...
Yeah.
Father.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. And the fact that he's not taking the Vex name means that Core Vex may turn into Jor-El. I don't know. Because remember, that was the name of their baby.
And that's been your Superman family tree for the day. Okay, so the other thought I had was, if you tell the city that the voice of Rao is an alien and expect them to rise up, isn't that... I mean, that's coming and saying, hey, your God that you've worshipped your whole life and your parents and grandparents have worshipped their whole lives is an alien. let's overthrow him. That's going to cause chaos, confusion. I'm thinking the Preacher season 1 finale, when everybody, spoilers for a 2-year-old show at this point, I guess, but when everybody found out that God was gone and everybody got super depressed and killed themselves, that wouldn't that immobilize the city in a way that would be counterproductive? I'm just thinking about the psychology of it. Hey, your God is an alien. Rise up. Wait, my God is a what? I need to sit quietly in the dark and think about everything for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I don't know. This is, oof. Oof.
Just deep philosophical things this is tampering with here.
Yeah. Which makes me think you kind of like the show, Sarah.
Oh, stop it. Kind of, a little. It's making me think thoughts. It really has picked up. I will say it has picked up quite a bit from the first couple episodes where I was a little more removed.
Yeah.
From the emotional appeal of the action.
And how do you think Kem pays off that doctor?
I don't know, but it's going to be plucky and funny.
All right.
That's what I think.
All right. So, a lot going on, a lot to think about. And
we're down to 3 more episodes?
3 more episodes. And I think you said one of them is going to be set on modern day Earth. So... Yeah,
we did report that, didn't we, in previous weeks? So yeah. that could be fun.
Yeah.
It's got to be. They're not going to do that in the finale, so it would have to be one of the next 2. And now I'm trying to think if I noticed any preview for next week when I watched this week's, and I don't recall doing so.
Yeah. I usually try to avoid the previews, but yeah.
I always used to, but now that we are doing this show, I feel like I pay a little more attention to them now, just because it kind of becomes part of what we talk about. But yeah, I've been spoiled by things I would rather have had unspoiled for me in the past.
Yeah.
So, you want to transition to news?
Yeah, go for it.
This is a tweet. Cameron Cuff, who plays Segel, tweeted, "Our show takes place in a fully realized DC universe. The Justice League, the Omega Men, the Green Lantern Corps. These things are all very real in the world of our story." And what excited people with that, I believe, was the reference to the Omega Men, plural.
Yes. The Omega Men, which, sorry to go Marvel again, but they're kind of like a DC version of Guardians of the Galaxy. They're a bunch of superheroes who are all aliens who hop around the galaxy. I have not read much of them, but they had a very popular comic series out about 3 years ago. So yeah, I'm excited for that. We'll see how that goes. And I think that the fact that it is a very obscure reference, so the fact that they've mentioned it multiple times, leads me to believe that they are definitely showing up, if not this season, next season, if it's renewed.
Well, I find myself mildly surprised to discover I am not dreading the next episode. That is very high praise, coming from where I was earlier this season. So,
all right.
All right.
We're gonna rush through. We're not rushing through this, but picking up the pace.
We're gonna be efficient.
Yes. All right. Next up, Gotham. That's better. Season 4, episode 20. A Dark Night. That Old Corpse. Jim and Harvey struggle to defend the GCPD from a mob of Jerome's followers who wanted to use the precinct as the site for a wake. The Riddler tried taking advantage of the madness to break Lee out of jail. Oswald and Butch saw the fun on TV and decided to jump in and try to find out who was really behind it. Bruce met with Jeremiah to test out his clean energy generator and learned that Jeremiah had gone nuts. Last minute reveal, Jeremiah and Echo broke into Wayne Enterprises to steal dozens of his generators to use as bombs.
So here's what I took away from this episode. Jeremiah/Jerome has a lock on the Juggalo faction. Like, that seems to be the Juggalos belong to him. So everyone be really afraid. The FBI literally classifies them as a gang. So, that's what it felt like to me. Yeah. So, yeah. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the tweets we got from Agent Palmer and at Bowerfett. Agent Palmer says, wait, so lockdown at GCPD means one piece of wood and no locks? Come on, Jimmy. And Bowerfett, explains that, the doors were repurposed from the Sheriff of Nottingham's castle. Was the only lock that would fit.
Well, I will say, I liked that Jim caught into what was happening pretty quickly. Oh, this is the distraction. This is not their end game. This is what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to deal with it. So I appreciated that he wasn't a chump. In the end, he kind of was. He was outsmarted. But, it looked like he was dealing with it, and I appreciated that. And can I just again say how glad I am that Harvey and Jim have patched things up?
Yeah.
That is the bromance I am invested in. So.
Yeah. And what's funny is that one scene where they're ready to storm the precinct, Lord of the Rings style, and just like dive in there, and they're going through, and then that explosion happens from across the city.
Yeah.
And just stops everyone in their tracks.
Yeah. Oh, we were so wrong. How could we be so wrong?
Oh.
I didn't expect Jerome's literal body to be quite as big a character as it was this week, but it was. That was his I mean, it literally was this old corpse. That was there. Gross. Yeah. Poor Bruce.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure how much time has passed, but I'm sure he's not fresh, is what I'm saying. I'm sure he wasn't fresh when he was alive. Like, I suspect he smelled not great when he was alive.
Well, he
and
was
then dead is not going to improve that.
Yeah. I mean, they probably embalmed him, right? So...
I don't know. I don't trust the Gotham universe to embalm your insane clown prince. So...
Still.
Now, I will say, I have to admit, I was faked out by Jeremiah. I was confused at the beginning, like I thought he went crazy. What's happening? He's scared. And then I realized it was all a con. He got me. He got me good. You got me good, Jeremiah.
Yeah. Yeah, the way he got Jim, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that back and forth while, Jeremiah's at the funeral, not the funeral, at the gravesite with Bruce, and then Jim's in the bunker watching.
Slowly putting it together.
Yeah. Yeah, and he peels off that skin and, Yeah.
It was good. This was a good episode. I enjoyed this. I also kind of enjoyed the moment where Lee offers Jim the chance to keep people safe, but by his own rules. Obviously, that's not what Jim does. That's not what he's ever going to do, and she should know that. To me, that was a miscalculation on her part, and I feel like she would know him well enough to know he would say no to that. But I guess it maybe says where she is now and where her character development has taken her. But I like that. I like that little interaction when you see him say, I'm not even tempted by that. I like that.
Yeah. And do you think she's gotten to the point now where she actually is in love with the Riddler and not Ed?
I am honestly not sure. Maybe. If so, I'm disappointed. I wanted her to have to keep the upper hand and be scheming and playing, but that's a little too Sophia, I think. We had Sophia doing that earlier this season, and I don't know that Lee is quite the same. I don't want her to play the same beat, but by the same token, if she's really truly in love with the Riddler, that's not what I wanted for Lee. It's not what I wanted at all.
Yeah. But
her dark, evil eye makeup tells me otherwise. That's the eye makeup of someone who's compromised and in love with the Riddler. So.
Yeah. And Oswald and Butch were really thrown in haphazard into this episode, but why not?
Well, I will say they were haphazard, but it gave me my favorite line of the week in any DC TV show, which was Bush saying, "There is nothing petty about my aggression." Yes, Butch. You've summed up my life.
Yeah. Also, chicken bones.
But yeah. I'm glad the camera cut away. I wish we had a little bit more Alfred, but I liked him immediately suiting up when he found out that Bruce might possibly be in trouble. He was moving, and so that was great.
Also, he gets ambushed, and we never went back to that. We don't know what happened to him.
Yeah. Oh well, Alfred's dead. No. Yeah, no, he did disappear in a way that, but I mean, this is Gotham. It tends to just drop characters, usually not mid-episode. Like, we didn't see Babs, and that's fine. I didn't expect to, but it is kind of strange that they didn't circle back to Alfred in whatever distress he was in. Do we need to talk about the not Harley Quinn? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. It turned out to be Echo, and yeah, she was just in a Harley Quinn mask, which is not the same as Harley Quinn. So I could live with that.
I still think they're. We see you, Gotham. We see what you're doing. So obvious.
Yeah.
But that said, this was good. I enjoyed this, and we have. Is it 2 more episodes of this one?
2 more episodes left. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It's a lot to wrap up.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. And we haven't heard anything about renewal yet, which is a little alarming.
Yeah. It's, I'm nervous. I would say of all the shows right now, this one is most likely to get canceled, but that doesn't, but they've been renewing everything so far. So I don't know. We'll see. Fox. Damn you, Fox.
Damn you, Fox. If you had to choose, because the 2 DC shows on Fox that have not gotten renewals are Gotham and Lucifer. If you had to choose, which do you take?
Oh, don't make me do that. That's,
Yeah, Lucifer. I choose Lucifer. Okay.
Okay, fine.
I mean, to be fair, though, I recap it for EW.com. So, I have a little bit more invested in there, and I would hate to see our friends at the Gotham Lights pod not have Gotham Lights to talk about anymore. So I want both back.
I would say I feel like Lucifer still has more in it, and I think probably has about another at least 2 or 3 more seasons in it, and I think Gotham could probably wrap up next season if it wanted to. It could wrap up this season too.
It just, well, my concern is it doesn't have enough time to do that. With 2 episodes left, maybe they shot an alternate ending that would give us something satisfying. But did they, will they have enough notice? That's my thing. If you're going to cancel a show, have the decency to tell it. So especially a show that has been on multiple seasons like this, let it wrap up. There's no excuse in 2018, I think, to not say, here is your chance to tell the last story you want to tell.
Yeah, well, and I think, some of the news that you mentioned has a little hint to the wrap up, because isn't there another element that we're going to be seeing in the next couple weeks? Yeah,
so some promo shots from the finale shows a Joker who looks even more Jokery than the Joker we've been getting, kind of what we've been led to expect based on the history of Batman. And more importantly, it features what looks to be a bat signal, like a baby bat signal. Oh, so if you're right, I mean, if that is the direction they're going, we're going to see the bat signal. That does feel like it's wrapping things up, and at that point they can say, all right, the end. The rest of it. Pick your favorite Batman. Go with that. So we'll see.
All right, we'll see. We shall see. Okay. Last show.
Okay, we can do it.
We can do this. All right. Arrow. Season 6, Episode 20. Docket number 11194173. Oliver's trial began, and everyone was nervous and scared. Dinah and Renee tried to give testimony supporting Oliver, but both of them ended up compromising themselves in the stand. Diggle rescued someone from Casnia as a Hail Mary. Ricardo Diaz pressured Black Siren to testify as Laurel against Oliver, and after pleading from Quentin, who is not her father, Siren had second thoughts. Last minute reveal, Diaz thwarted an attack from Black Siren and revealed to her it was time for Plan B. Kill Oliver Queen.
This was a slight improvement over episodes that we have watched and struggled with this season. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, and it was funny as a courtroom episode because we saw how that did disastrous on Flash, and they still made a lot of the same mistakes here, but I found it more tolerable.
I didn't screech at my TV as much as I did with the Flash courtroom scenes. I will say no defense attorney would ever directly ask her client if he's guilty. No, don't tell me. Just don't tell me. But other than that, it could have been a lot worse. It helped having Catherine Dent. She's fantastic. Most people know her from The Shield. She was great. So she's a good prosecutor, a formidable opponent. I enjoyed that very much. I liked it's ridiculous that it would go to trial that quickly, obviously, but this is TV. That's what happens. But I kind of liked the judge saying, you know what? No, this is, what is it? Not guilty, notwithstanding the verdict, whatever.
Yeah. Judgment
an acquittal, notwithstanding the verdict. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was kind of an interesting legal maneuver, and I thought it showed maybe there was a little bit of, I think, fairness in the Star City legal system, that a judge would say, no, I don't think this is right. I don't think he did it for corrupt reasons. Well, he did. He did do it for corrupt reasons, but to me, it felt semi-reasonable because there was so much reasonable doubt. Come on, man. You can't acquit Oliver for that, or you can't convict Oliver for that.
Yeah, and I spoke with my father about this, and that is a that is a real thing. It's not very common.
Oh yeah.
Most defense attorneys will ask for it before and after the verdict. And usually the judge will deny it. Just on principle.
But that's why it felt reasonable to me, though, because they had introduced enough reasonable doubt with Tommy. Basically, that a jury should have said, beyond a shadow, no, we can't say that. So it didn't feel like the Flash was ridiculous top to bottom. This didn't feel like that at all.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and
so even though the judge was in fact Christopher Chant's human target, so obviously was doing Oliver's bidding and John Diggle's bidding, I still think there was good justification. It didn't come out of nowhere. It didn't feel like they were cheating. To me, it felt like actually writing what was a bad jury decision.
Yeah. And of course, condemning that judge to death. Because you had to know that. Why don't they give that judge Arcus protection? He's not getting out of the city alive.
Wait, so that judge got knocked out, got impersonated in court, and then they were just like, "Peace out, judge. See ya." Oh, I'm sorry. Did you get murdered in an alley? Oopsie. Yeah, they should have known that.
Well, also, I love how Christopher Chance is nonchalantly like, "Oh, yeah, who's gonna believe him now?"
Okay, so can we talk for a second about John freaking Diggle parachuting out of the sky, firing a machine gun as he does so, landing lightly on his feet without a stumble, and then exploding a Jeep over his head? That was one of the better cold opens in the history of television.
This really opened like a Vin Diesel movie.
I would have gone with classic 80s Sylvester Stallone, but Vin Diesel works.
Yeah. No. Stallone wouldn't have had the Jeep flipping over him. That's a Vin Diesel thing.
Familia. I liked that they didn't quite tell us who he was getting. I mean, I think we all knew based on previews and speculation and things like that, but had you not been quite as clued in, I think that would have been a really cool reveal, oh my God, human target. It was great having Tommy back. It was a lot of fun to see that actor again. It looked like that actor was enjoying being there. I know that sounds silly, but I thought that was a lot of fun. Yeah, and but I also think it was very cool that Oliver wasn't prepared, and I assume they did that on purpose so he would get a real reaction out of Oliver.
Yeah,
that definitely. They wouldn't tell him that it's going to be Tommy's face, and so he would be as shook as the rest of the courtroom. Yeah, yep,
definitely.
Oh, before I forget, were you aware of the significance of the docket number in the episode title?
No, I was not.
Docket number 11-19-41-73, which is no way to number a court case. The Green Arrow first appeared in More Fun Comics number 73, which was published on November 1943. So 11-19. November 1941, 11/19/41/73. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So Easter egg, comic Easter egg. There you go. I didn't know that. The internet told me that.
Yeah. Now, I do feel like before we get into the meat of this, we do need to read some tweets.
Sure.
Some that are holdovers from last week, but mostly about the Siren Lance storyline. TV Fan Maniac saying the Siren Lance storyline is simply making me lose brain cells per episode. Woman has been puffing buildings down and making smoothies out of people's brains, yet they come up with this nonsense. And
I will admit, in that last scene when she goes to scream Diaz into oblivion and he's got the dampener, I'm like, but you're holding a gun. Like, you have a gun in your other hand. He can't dampen that.
And Bowerfett piles on, I listened to last week's episode 4 times while sleeping on Sunday night. And now re-listening for real on Tuesday, I realized it was Ed's not his daughter rant that kept waking me up.
Well, you know why? Because she's not his daughter. She's not.
And I think the reason I toned it down this week is because I don't know, I kind of bought it a little bit. I actually think that, like, now for him to work down and for her to have those second thoughts and roll over, or not roll over for Diaz, I don't know. I think that kind of worked in that sense.
I mean, I like that she has been coming around to, oh God, this is bad. This is really bad.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand all the times when she's actually alone with him. He seems to have henchmen sometimes, but then not henchmen other times, and I just don't understand how he's this untouchable, terrifying force. He still is not living up to the dread that the characters discuss when they are dealing with him. He just is not living up to that hype, and she chose to attack him when he was surrounded by people when she could have waited. I don't know.
I'm not talking about her attacking Diaz. I'm talking about her in her testimony, like testifying.
Oh, okay.
Like Quentin finally got through to her that way. But I think the reason I like it better is because, like, her being around Quentin, she just kind of, like, you know, starts to feel for him more as a father figure rather than him trying to shove down her throat that she's his daughter, which she's not.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. Okay.
So it
I still
kind of
don't love any of it, but
yeah,
it was less irritating. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of irritating, they mentioned the name Susan Williams again. Hard pass. I thought we had agreed to never speak about her again, Arrow. I thought that we had agreed.
Yeah. Now, do you want to just go through some Southern Siren stuff?
Yeah.
Had another bunch of
now let's welcome to the show our third co-host when we get to the Arrow segment.
Yeah, she did mention that during the week. She feels like a third co-host, and well, okay. Okay. But she does make great points. I adored all of the scenes of Felicity and Queen family moments. When Felicity told Oliver, we fight to protect each other and we will save each other, my shipper heart was so happy.
Same, and especially when the prosecutor suggests that she rushed to marry him to get spousal privilege, and she says, no, I've been in love with him for 6 years, and he actually on trial for his life, and he gives that soft little smile. Okay, you can keep talking it.
Next up, I'm still done with Renee, but I fell for him when Diaz had Zoe. It's the first time I've really been scared of what Diaz will do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Renee's little, oh, god damn it.
Renee continues to disappoint. Great, they made up, he and Oliver.
I'm not afraid, Hoss. What the hell is Zoe doing inside Star City at that moment? Like,
ooh, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of needing Argus protection, why is Argus not just, like, there all the time monitoring everybody as they should be?
Well, like Kurt. This is gonna come up later, but
okay.
They can try to play Siren as a victim, but she's not. She is equally as monstrous as Diaz. I have no empathy for her. Okay.
Yeah.
Lance is totally going to die because of Black Siren. They will try to use his death to redeem her, but I never felt their relationship was genuine. I could see Sara getting stuck with helping redeem Siren on Legends.
Please don't put that out in the universe, because that sounds like a thing they might try to do.
All right.
But
Curtis,
no, I kind of agree.
Yeah. Curtis, whining about not being subpoenaed. He just can't help but be annoying. How about, like, instead of just sitting there in the courtroom, fingers crossed, you take Zoe and leave the city?
Yeah, yeah. How about you make yourself useful by making yourself freaking useful?
Diggle, even when he's pissed at Oliver, they still come through for each other. They plan the human target together, and it works sort of. Plus, Oliver entrusted Dig to get his family in Argus protection if he goes to prison. Yeah, that was cool. And seeing Colin Donnell is back is always a delight. He looked damn good in the Arrow suit. Can we now call it Brotherhood of the Traveling Arrow suit, since Oliver, Dig, and Tommy have worn it?
I love that, and I love it because, like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, the suit apparently accommodates whatever body type is wearing it. So it's a magic suit.
Yeah. Yeah, all good points. Cool. Oh, we're running over.
All right. Well, good thing we don't have much news left.
Okay. All right.
But yeah.
So what news for Arrow?
So David Ramsey says that there will be long-lasting ramifications for the things happening with original Team Arrow. It's not going to be resolved by the end of this season. It's going to stretch into season 7. So yay. And bigger news: Paul Blackthorne is done after this season. He is not returning for season 7. And honestly, do any of us blame him?
Paul Blackthorne, for those who don't know, plays Quentin Lance. And Dan Evans, Dan, our buddy from the Deconstructing Dad podcast, sends in an email, greetings and salutations. He does point out a bunch of news articles, but the one thing he points out, Paul Blackthorne is not returning. Does this mean Ed doesn't have to yell "She's not his daughter" anymore?
I want you to do it at least once or twice more before the end of the season, at least.
Well,
I assume that's why he's leaving. Honestly, I assume that he just has been reading the scripts and his character has been so all over the place, and he's out. Yeah. He's done.
Yeah. I don't know. It's sad. I think it's he's a great character, and he's a solid standby. It's gonna be.
Oh, he's a great actor. He's had a lot of ups and downs, and I will miss that character. But again, I understand what the actor is thinking.
Mm-hmm. All right. That was the only news for Arrow, right?
Yep.
All right.
So. Transitioning into general news. Hey, Ed, big news.
Oh, what's that?
We have details about the DC streaming service. Are you ready for all the details we have?
All right. What do we got?
It's going to be called DC Universe.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
It's going to be called DC Universe. Yes. I could have told you that like a year ago.
But that was the big announcement. That was their big announcement. DC Universe, Ed.
DC Universe. That's it.
That's really it.
Okay. All right. So, but they obviously told us like when it's going to be launching and how much it's going to cost, right?
Oh, sweet summer child. None of those things.
No.
None of those things.
No, but they gave us a URL you can go to where you can add your email to a mailing list where they will tell you when they figure those things out.
Why haven't they figured those things out? What is the hold up? Do you think it's because they're negotiating for rights to this or that show, movie, whatever? I mean, do you think that's what it is?
I have no idea. Maybe they want. You know what? I can't say. Maybe they want to launch at the same time that Titans is ready to premiere. But Your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, DC. So. Yeah, I guess we have a logo too for the DC universe. It's kind of what you'd expect. Okay. It's fine. So yeah, we have a name. Hey.
Yay.
But we joke. The rest of the news that we have really comes out of this announcement, which included their lineup of shows. So they do have a little bit more information about some of the shows that are slated to air or that are in development. One of the bits of news we got was that Titans has an official logo. Music. It looks like 80s graffiti. I don't know if that is on trend with the tone of the comics or with the show itself, but Titans has a logo.
Well, it doesn't. See, it doesn't look like anything from the comics, but it's basically like it's like bright blue text on a black background, and which is a weird color scheme. I'm thinking it actually. You know what? It kind of looks like the Nightwing's color scheme. So
okay,
I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Let's see. In other news, remember we have told you about Metropolis? Wherein there is no Superman, but Lois Lane and Lex Luthor investigate pseudoscience type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's been pulled. It's being redeveloped. It is no longer on the slate of shows because apparently somebody somewhere said, wait, you want to do what now?
It's being redeveloped.
Now, that could be a couple of things. That could be a euphemism for let us never speak of this again. Or they could be going back to the drawing board and tweaking, fixing, and we'll hear about it again in a month or a year. What do you think it is?
Well, yeah, I don't know. They didn't announce any like producer changes or writing changes or staff changes with that, right? It was just like we're redeveloping it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That could mean anything. This, I mean, the fact that this was the one show that they'd mentioned before. I mean, because you also had logos for the Harley Quinn series and Young Justice Outsiders. So the fact that there was no logo for Metropolis kind of leads me to believe that it's not far enough along that they wanted to announce anything. So even though they gave it a series order, I guess they've kind of pulled that now and they're going to wait and see. So yeah, don't expect any more news on that for a while.
Yeah, or ever. So drama. And then the last little bit of news that we have this week and that came out of this DC Universe announcement is a series that's being developed that we hadn't heard about before, that had not been in a pipeline we'd been aware of, and that is Swamp Thing, about which I know nothing. So Ed, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell me things about Swamp Thing.
Okay, Swamp Thing is a character that's been around since the 70s. Actually, he had 2 movies in the 80s, one of which was directed by Wes Craven, and a low-rent TV series that aired on USA Network in the early 90s for 3 seasons. The basic idea is Dr. Alec Holland was a botanist working in the Louisiana swamps who through a freak accident ended up dying and being taken over by a spirit that controls all plant life. So he lives in the swamp. He, is completely made out of plants and can communicate with and cause all plant life around him to do anything he wants. And he basically protects the swamp and all of plant life around the world from those wishing to destroy it.
I have questions.
Okay.
In the TV series and in the movies, did they keep the dude being entirely made out of plants?
Yes.
Because it feels like that's central to the character, but it also feels like it would be hard from a technical standpoint and also from a relating to your lead character standpoint if he is a plant man. A Swamp Thing.
Yes. Well, it's always the axis is the other people who are interacting with the Swamp Thing. That's kind of your lead in. That's how John Constantine actually started as a character on Swamp Thing.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. He was created by
Okay.
during Alan Moore's run. And Alan Moore's run on the character is actually noteworthy because it doesn't really acknowledge Alec Holland. Alan Moore's the bare bones way to explain it is that in Alan Moore's, Swamp Thing wasn't a man who was turned into a plant. He was a plant who believed that he was a man.
Okay.
And yeah. So yeah.
So this could go a lot of ways. Is what I'm hearing.
There's a lot of, you've had some of the greatest storytelling over the years. My favorite run most recently was Scott Snyder, who has a huge run on Batman, also did Swamp Thing in the New 52, where his girlfriend, Abby Arcane, who's the daughter of Anton Arcane, who is a horrible, disgusting creature, who is the avatar of the Rot. So, like, Swamp Thing protects the green, which is all the plant life in the world, and Arcane represents the Rot, which is all of the death and decay in the world. And basically, Swamp Thing had to team up with Animal Man, who is the avatar of the red, or all animal life, to stop the Rot from, basically turning all of the world into dead, decaying things.
Sounds cheerful.
Yeah. But, there's a great love story there between Alec and Abby, because they're these two people who work together, and, because of, he's a plant, she's a human, they can't really, it's hard for them to find intimacy, but they love her. They love each other. So it's this really weird, like, great gothic, Guillermo del Toro could have done so much with this character.
Oh my gosh.
He was going, when Guillermo del Toro was doing the Justice League Dark movie, a lot of it would have, Swamp Thing and John Constantine would have both been characters in that. So,
well, now I'm going to reject whatever they come up with because it's not Guillermo del Toro's Swamp Thing. I don't care what you do, DC Universe. It's not got Guillermo del Toro's Gonzo clockwork.
Well, I mean, this is close.
Bizarro.
This is being executive produced by James Wan, who just directed the Aquaman movie, but made his bones doing stuff like The Conjuring and Insidious. So my guess is this is definitely going to be more of a horror-based show.
Interesting. I do like a comic show that tackles genre like that. So that could be a lot of fun to have horror within this universe. So that'd be cool. Yeah.
Okay, that's enough of me blabbing. Were there any news for other shows?
We are out of news.
Oh, wow, that went fast. Okay. All right, so now it's time for our Winners of the Week.
Mine's a stretch this week. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to say the winner of the week are the women that we saw grappling with their circumstances and coming to terms with them. So we've got, and I'm going to try to avoid specific spoilers for those who are maybe behind, but you've got Marlize on The Flash, who had one of the best, I think, character realizations and then character peace out exits in the history of The Flash, wherein she takes back some of her power and her control and, drops that loser the way she should have. So Caitlin also in The Flash is trying to come to terms with, I miss Killer Frost. I want her back. I'm going to take proactive steps to do that. On Supergirl, we've got Sam and Rain sort of, Sam grappling with that and Rain ultimately prevailing, unfortunately, hopefully for now. Krypton, I guess a little bit. You've got Nyssa and Lyta, who both are sort of coming to terms with the change in circumstances, but especially Nyssa this week. And then even, and I can't believe I'm mentioning her in a winner of the week capacity, but Black Siren on Arrow, who is acknowledging that things are not going the way she wants them to go, and she's trying to take steps to change it, even if they're shockingly inept. But yeah, women who are trying to be proactive in dealing with new circumstances are my winner of the week.
Wow, that's very, very similar to my winner for the week, which was breakups. That you had Chloe and Marcus ended their engagement on Lucifer. Lena and Sam basically kind of ended their friendship when Rain was taken out of their facility on Supergirl. iZombie, it looks like, I don't know, I think Clive and Officer Hunter got close enough that Clive is probably going to be breaking up with Dale next week. Also,
Major and I are breaking up, as we talked about.
Yes,
so
that's
that
true.
Too.
Flash, we had Gypsy and Cisco decided to go their separate ways. Krypton, it doesn't look like Dev M is going to end up with Lyta Zod anytime soon.
Kind of, we are never ever getting back together in that scenario, yes.
On Gotham, Bruce and Jeremiah ended their bromance. And on Arrow, as you said, Ricardo Diaz, kind of got the get out from Black Siren, and that did not go well.
No, that was not a clean breakup.
No. Oh, wow. So jam-packed, a lot of fun, went a little longer than usual, but that's okay. That's okay. I think we had a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and we have another 7 shows slated for next week and the week after. So,
well, and we minimized references to the competing comic book shop that shall not be named that maybe was a little front and center last week. So.
Yeah, and we're recording this on Free Comic.
Refocused on our mission,
and we're recording this on Free Comic Book Day. I got to get out and grab my books while they're still available. But
do you have your eye on anything particular?
You know what? I don't know. I haven't checked the listings to see what's out. But there's usually a good Simpsons thing from Bongo. I always try to get like the more obscure stuff. You can get some fun stuff on Free Comic Book Day. No.
Yeah, it seems like a good opportunity to try something new. No, there's no risk, no reward, right? Yeah. If you're not outlaying any of your own cash, try something you might not otherwise. This is going to fall too late because it will come out the day after Free Comic Book Day, but remember this for next year.
Yeah. All right. So that's the DCTV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
And I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice, and please rate and review us on wherever you are, especially Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. That helps bring eyeballs and let more people know about the show. And be sure to check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.